Guys, we're kicking it off. It's a Wednesday here at the Picks and Parlays live cap. We've got some great NFL games to cover today. I want to welcome to the studio Nick Parsons from the Insiders Room, and our special guest Kurt Alexander is with us today as well. Hey guys, how's it going?
It is going totally great. Ali, how are you doing, Kurt?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Ali?
I'm rocking and rolling, doing my thing, you know. I'm excited to get into some of these. I actually had a winning weekend over last weekend, so I'm excited to talk some football now.
There you go.
It's been a while.
Yeah, this week 10 card. I mean, this was a little bit difficult. I was looking at some of these matchups and different things, but after getting into a few of the games that you sent over for us to go over today, I was kind of liking a few of these different games. But what were you thinking, Ali?
Yeah, so let's start off. Well, first of all, anyone who's watching at home, feel free to comment, ask us questions, let us know what your picks are and what you think. But I wanted to start off with Washington at the Lions, the old Washington football team. Yeah, Washington is 2-6. They're coming off that loss at home, 23-20 against the Giants. They did not cover the -3 points there. And the Lions are 3-5. They're coming off of back-to-back losses, most recently 34-20 against the Vikings. So, Kurt, lay it on me. What's your first thing that pops out at you when you see Washington at the Lions?
The first thing that pops out to me is they need a number one pick. I think they're giving up on Haskins. This was Ron Rivera's first season with the team, and these are not his guys. These aren't his players. So there's still a little bit of juggling. They still have to kind of get the bad seeds out of there, the bad eggs on that team. From the previous coaching regime to get that out of there and try to get his own people in there, get his players, maybe a couple draft classes, maybe a quarterback. There's a few coming out in this draft. So at this point, when you look at your record and you look at your season, defense looks great. That Washington defensive line, unbelievable. I think it's probably the best in football. They've been doing this over the past few years, just getting first-round picks. And working on the defense. I think they did that right. The offensive side, aside from McLaren, I don't really see where they're going to get their points. The quarterback situation, Alex Smith is now the QB, I believe, because of the injury last week. And I that's just not enough. I think they're really going to struggle with this Detroit team here this week. Not that I'm a fan of Detroit. They will be getting Kenny Galladay back, and that's a huge upside for Matthew Stafford and that offense. So when I look at this game, I'm leaning more towards Detroit just because I do think they still have something to play for, where Washington's just playing for pride right now in a first-round draft pick.
I guess I should have given the line. The Lions are -3.5, and the total on this one is 46.5. So, Nick, what's your read on this game?
I also have a difficult time with this one. Well, Washington, of course, it plays in the NFC East, you guys, and so even at 2-6, it's sitting in second place behind Philadelphia at 3-4-1. So, I mean, even the New York Giants have an opportunity. I mean, if a miracle were to happen, they still mathematically anyways have a chance at winning this division. But Kurt made a really good point there about Ron Rivera and this being his first year. And none of these guys were his guys anyways, no matter what. And so with this strange season, yeah. But is Stafford going to be playing? Because he suffered the concussion there last week. And then, of course, the backup is Chase Daniels. For me, sort of looking at this game, I would tend to, even though the Lions' defense is so horrible, it's giving up 31 points per game. Yeah. I'm sort of leaning to an under here on this one because I don't see where the points are going to come from Washington either. And as Kurt said, that Washington defense is actually the strong point of it. And so if I'm looking at this game, my strongest play, I think, is on the under in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was my move on this one was when so many things, you don't know what exactly is going on, and these two quarterbacks, they don't know what's going on. And like you guys have both clearly stated, the defense is not bad in Washington. So yeah, I like the under on this one too. One of our commenters, I know this is a little change gears real quick, but Ball State and Eastern Michigan does start in an hour. Do either one of you have a play or a pick? Have we done any research on this? We might not have, Fred.
I actually have a play up on this one, on that exact game, up at Picks and Parlay, so I can't really touch on the side too much there. But yeah, Maction is back, and so every day this week we're going to have football. In fact, I think there's going to be football on almost every single night here for like the next 15 nights in a row or something. So we have that to look forward here. What about you, Kurt? Did you have any chance to look at that particular game?
I actually do have a play up on Picks and Parlays on this game as well. So hopefully we're on the right side of this one. I feel real strong about this play. You guys can go check it out.
Yeah, absolutely, you guys.
Gomez, that's what you got to do. You got to head over to picksandparlays.net. Nick and Kurt both have a premium play on this. They ain't giving it for free. Not today.
We got you, Nick.
Not today.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty confident on this one too.
Elliot V does like all three of the favorites to cover tonight, though, if that means anything to you, Xavier.
Okay.
There you go.
Interesting. Yes. It's still early, Elliot. It's still early. We're trying to see what this Mac attack, this Mac action is going to be like this year, too. It's still early in the season, and you have surprises. Like we've been seeing in all the other conferences. Like surprising is what's going on with Penn State right now, or even Maryland. So I'm looking for the surprises in the early games, like the start to the season for these conferences. You're looking for these upsets, and are they real early? We don't really know yet. So I think the line makers are putting lines out there based on last season and projections of what this season's going to be like. But hey, this is a season like no other. Yeah. Look out for the surprise.
To say the least. That's the understatement of the year. Okay, so let's roll back into the NFL. This is a bit more of an exciting game, perhaps. We'll talk 49ers at the Saints. Saints are -9.5. I think I saw that up to 10. The total's 50. 49ers are 4-5. They're coming off of back-to-back losses against Seattle and Green Bay. They're really dinged up. The Saints are like marching in right now. They're on fire, coming off an absolute beatdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think anyone saw that coming the way it went down. You might have been on the Saints, but did you really think it was going to be 38-3? And that was their 5th win in a row. So I'm a believer in the Saints, but I don't want to overreact. I feel like 10 points is a crap ton of points. So Nick, why don't you start this one off? What do you think about Niners and Saints?
Yeah, I don't have an official play on this game yet, but as I started to get into it, I started leaning more and more towards the 49ers. And as you said, I don't want to overreact to those 6 straight wins, and especially that huge win over Tampa Bay in Tampa Bay last weekend. I mean, they were almost acting as if they had won the Super Bowl when you saw Jameis Winston eating those W's and everything afterwards. And I mean, it's actually, the Saints have really hit a vanilla part of their schedule there. They have upcoming games against Atlanta twice. They have Denver and Philadelphia, and then this Week 10 matchup against San Francisco. They're now in first place in the division. Everything's been going right for them. For San Francisco, though, it's coming off a 34-17 setback to Green Bay. So the 49ers, they're in a competitive division as well, but both Seattle and the Cardinals both lost, and so it still has an opportunity here too, and it has its bye week next week. And so if it can somehow manage to pull off an upset here, then it really is looking good for the rest of the season. And so this is basically a very critical game. I hate to say must win, but it almost is a must win for the 49ers. Not so much for the Saints, obviously. They've won 6 in a row. They're in the driver's seat. I'm not saying that I think the 49ers are going to win this one outright, but I do think that, we don't have to question the effort that that the 49ers are going to give here. But I do think that the Saints, we could question that there could possibly be some sort of a letdown here. And so that's sort of what I was thinking here to begin with. I like the 49ers and the points. And so motivation, and effort. Those are two things that I always take into account when I handicap. And so I think San Francisco's got to bring its A game here, its best shot for sure. And so they're sure getting a lot of points here, Kurt. What do you think?
They are.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is maybe too many points. These two teams played last year. Do you guys remember that game? It was a shootout.
Yeah.
Of course, you're missing some of those pieces. Jimmy G's not going to be there. Kittle's not going to be there. Those guys were very instrumental in the outcome of that game, San Francisco 48-46 on the last second field goal. But I'm over these Saints numbers, and yes, 6-2 looks great. I've been very critical of their defense all year because really covering spreads.
Mm-hmm. We have a little bit of a freeze up there from Kurt, and so that does happen from time to time. But it did appear as if he was agreeing with us there, didn't he, Allie?
Yeah.
Or at least with my initial analysis there on San Francisco.
No, I'm with you on this one too, Nick. I think it's a lot of points when you have a team that is motivated like the Niners have to be right now. 10 points is a lot in the NFL. So, and granted, we've seen blowouts. We just saw one with the Saints, but are they going to do that back to back? I think they were guns a-blazing as far as the Bucs are concerned, because obviously there's a really deep rivalry, Brady, Breeze, who's the better vet right now. And for 2020, Breeze has got 2 in the win column and Brady's got a goose egg. So,
yes.
Yeah, how motivated? I don't think Breeze is going to be as motivated to beat the Niners as they were the Bucs, but they are at home. There is that going on, the dome, sweet dome, as Kurt would call it.
Right.
So there is that. Elliot says Kurt is in the Matrix, but he also says Miami is for real. And let me tell you what, I took Miami plus 190 and I kept trying to get on the other side of the game, but I was going downtown with I had friends in town from Portland, so I couldn't, and I kind of just gave up on it because the Cards were, in the lead a lot of the way.
Right.
And then I saw the final score and I was like, heck yeah, I cashed that. So,
nice
that was
work.
my play. I like Miami a lot.
Me
but
too.
The Cardinals did a lot better than I thought they would do. I thought the Dolphins would handle the Cardinals, and they did not necessarily do that.
No. That was a coin flip at the end there, and another great game by the Dolphins. No, I like the Dolphins as well. Absolutely. 2
a time is a good time, man. It's a good time.
It is.
It's a lot of fun out there. So I do have one more game we were going to go over, and I know Kurt is good at this one because we did a free pick on it. What's up?
I said some really, really good stuff before I realized that I was on air. I left it out there.
That always happens.
Oh yeah. That's.
Well, we assumed that you were leaning towards taking the points with the 49ers. So
yes, I was leaning towards the points basically because of the Saints defense. I don't trust this defense. I haven't trusted this defense all season. When you're talking about covering spreads, especially spreads that are basically because 9 is one thing. If you want to cash the ticket, you're going to have to cover 10. The Saints have only beaten one team this year by 10 or more points. Tampa Bay.
Very good point.
I'm guessing it's the Bucs.
That's it.
Right.
You can play the Bucs every week. The team will be in the Super Bowl. But that's it. No more games. You have a point win, first game of the season. And last week, let's just say it was a lot to a little bit. Okay?
Yeah.
Blew them out. In between all these games, you look at the game against the Raiders. Lost that game outright. Vegas gave up 34 points. Gave up 37 to Green Bay. Detroit gave up 29. Won by 6. Won by the Chargers. Win by 3 against the Bears. Won by 3 against. Wait a minute. This team's on a 6-game winning streak, and it's the Saints. Exactly.
Right.
It's the Saints And the Saints defense. Yeah, they're not covering spread. They're not covering big spreads. This is an overreaction. The books are going to remember what they saw last week. They know people are going to remember what they saw last week. Wow, they blew out Tom Brady. They held him to nothing. And here comes the 40s, injured, limping in. But beware those wounded animals. Those are the ones that fight the hardest. So in this game, I'm all over San Fran. If I do play this game, that's the only way I will go. I can't lay the 10 with the Saints. Their defense can't be trusted, and some players will be back for San Francisco. What you have to look at San Francisco is the top 10 defense. These guys are going to come to play. They played them last year. It was very personal last year because these two were kind of like the elite, the NFC elite last year. So when they bumped heads, these were two knockout fighters fighting. San Francisco won that one. I think that they're going to come back and make this one competitive. I love the Niners in this position, fighting for their lives. Definitely.
All right, so we're all in agreement there.
Yeah, we are.
For sure. I mean, and just one last point there is that if New Orleans has a lead going into the second half, it has no motivation to try and run up the score. It did that last week against Brady and the Buccaneers. That was a statement game. If they have a lead going into the second half, it's going to be about running out the clock, managing the game, avoiding injuries, and that plays into taking the underdog and the larger spread for sure.
Yes.
I'm with it.
I agree.
I love the points. Gotta love the points.
Definitely.
Okay. So we've got one more game to talk about. The Eagles at the Giants. So the Eagles are -3.5. The total's 44.5. Eagles are 3-4-1. They're coming off back-to-back wins against the Giants and the Cowboys. And now they face the Giants again, which is only one game after. They just played them in Philly. They won that game 22-21. And the Giants are 2-7. They're coming off the 23-20 win at Washington. They were 3-point underdogs there, so you cash some plus money if you were on them. My thing with the Giants, they had a good first half. I mean, but in the second half, they just gave it away, and I have a hard time trusting the Giants. So, Nick, give me your read on this one.
Well, I guess this is a pretty big divisional game in the NFC East. New York, as you said, 2-7. The Eagles at 3-4-1. The Eagles have been off since that 23-9 win over Dallas 2 weeks ago. Next weekend, they have a tough game at Cleveland. And I hear that the starting quarterback for the Browns, Mayfield, he will be back playing again this week. So he should be there. And as you mentioned, New York plays with revenge here. It lost that 22-21 road loss to the Eagles 3 weeks ago. The Giants, they've gone 3-0 in their last three. But they're only just 1-2 straight up. But that last victory was last week, as you mentioned, against Washington. Both of these teams, they've had plenty of issues on both sides of the ball, on and off the field. Carson Wentz for the Eagles and also Daniel Jones. They've both been, really prone to the turnovers this year. Wentz has 12 touchdowns and also 12 interceptions. But I mean, I have a hard time getting a read on this one. To me, it sort of feels like whichever team has the ball, their hands on the ball last, is going to win this one. And so in a case like that, I would lean to taking the points in this case. But I have a hard time trusting New York being its offense, especially. The defense has been decent here. So that's where I'm sort of thinking right now. It's sort of leaning to the points here, unless you guys can convince me or argue me off that.
Well, it's funny because Elliot says Daniel Jones will rush for 200 yards, and Kurt likes to tell me, I don't like it when my quarterback is the best running back on my team. So, Kurt, lay it on me. What do you think about Eagles at Giants?
Actually, with this game, I'm on the Giants. I'm taking the home dog. They just played each other, like Nick was saying a couple weeks ago. And if you guys remember that game, that was the game where Danny Dimes took off down the field and tripped over the 15-yard line. Remember?
Right.
Yeah. Over the 15-yard line. And It looks like
I shouldn't laugh.
It looks like Devontae Freeman will be back, so maybe Danny Dimes isn't going to have to carry the rushing load this week. But last game they played, I want to read off Carson Wentz's stats. 25 of 43 for 359, 2 TDs, 1 interception, and you win the game by 1.
Wow.
Coming with 5 minutes left because you were down. With 5 minutes to play, they were down 21-10 that game. I don't know how they're the favorite this week. I know they do have some players coming back. I see Sanders is coming back. It looks like Alshon Jeffrey will be available, but Carson Wentz will still be there. And that guy has been the issue with this Eagles team the entire season. The entire season. Gave away week 1 to the Redskins. Just gave it away. Throwing interceptions with a 17-point lead. A 17-0 lead. Basically giving them the ball back. And he'll do the same here. The last game that they played against the Giants, went for it on 4th and goal. Couldn't get it. Went for a 2-point conversion. Couldn't get it. They snuck out of there with a win. That win is a little suspect from the last game. I feel that the Giants are going to look at the way they lost the last game against Philly and make up for it this game. I'd like them winning outright, honestly. I don't think there's that much separation in the NFC least right now. Who's the better team? Like, who's worse? You know, that's I'm with you. As the opponent they're playing in their division, and that's really what it comes down to. Anytime I have games like this, I have to take the points. Two bad teams. I know Philly's in first place, but yeah, it's not a spot where I'm going to lay the 3.5 on the road against a team you barely beat 2 weeks ago. I think the Giants have a good chance to win this game outright. And like you said, Nick, this division is so close that the Giants win this game, they're tied for first place in the win column. Just like that. You went from worst to first in one game.
Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, divisional contests, they're always the most important, and they almost always mean the most to the home team. And so, I'm with you on this one, Kurt.
Yeah, I think the Giants won getaway. It was 21-10 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter 2 weeks ago when they played. And the Giants just that's just a game they let get away because they could have ran the clock out. Just played a little better for the last part. You know, that separates the good teams from the bad teams right there. The Giants are a bad team. We know this. That's why they couldn't finish that game off that they should have finished off. Here you're giving us points, so take the points. Get greedy if you want and take the money line, but definitely take the 3.5.
I mean, I'm with you. I think taking the points is the way to go here. But the Giants, I mean, like, you score the second quarter and then you score 3 in the entire second half while Washington is racking up 17 points. I mean, it's just like giving it away to the Eagles. They almost gave it away to Washington. I don't know how Washington didn't just win that. Like at the end of the day, if you guys go to sleep in the second half, then I don't know. But I agree. This is such a close matchup or, division. Everything you guys said, basically, I'm with you. I don't have anything super new or impressive to add to it. I'm with you. It's just one of those games, take the points, hold your nose, make the bet, and take the points,
Nice.
So we did have our friend Edwin Roman. He's saying that his Roman, perhaps, is saying that he likes the Chargers as his dog this week. You guys have any thought on the Chargers?
Let me take a quicker look here.
He says Herbert is going to be mad.
The Chargers at Miami. Yeah, jeez. Miami, your grandpa always said never stand in front of a train. And Miami is just on a roll right now. It's just playing so well on both sides of the ball. I think that defense is really underrated. And at home, I'm a little bit cautious. I don't have a play on that one yet, but to completely recommend the Chargers there, I'm a little unsure about that at this point. Do you have any thoughts on that one, Kurt?
I actually do like the Chargers. I don't love them in that game. I like them. I like them depending on how many points I get. I see that it's kind of moving, below the prime number that you want. I believe I saw maybe 4 earlier in the week. What is it at now?
2.5.
Yeah. See, yeah,
Two even.
It's even at 2. And Miami is that defense. What's funny is I don't know if we have good defenses anymore. When you look at the numbers last week's game, Miami's defense was number 1 in scoring, leading the league, 18 points, and they're going up against the Arizona Cardinals. They give up 31. Like, yikes, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Defense. They go to the Cowboys, get out of there, with a win, barely. So with these defenses and these defensive numbers, I'm not sure if we could trust it. But what I do love is the fact that Mr. Herbert is going up against Tua time. I think that's exciting football. This draft class, what do you guys think about this draft class? We haven't been disappointed yet. In years past, you have 1 or 2 quarterbacks where you're thinking, okay, they might work out. Haskins hasn't really worked out. We don't know where Josh Rosen is. I think he's like on the back of a milk carton right now. I have no idea who he plays for. But yeah, that's
both of these teams actually, if you think about it, they both started with veteran quarterbacks under center, and then quickly made a change to rookies who have come in and seamlessly taken control of the ship there, and so it really goes to show that these teams are well-built teams. If these quarterbacks can just come in before the season even started, rookies, and continue to progress and to make steps each week. So, it really does say something about the overall team chemistry and the rest of the other 3 phases of the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, and neither one of those guys were slouches in college. They went to really strong football schools. They played really tough for their teams, and they did well there. So, they come from winning cultures of football. And they just seamlessly mesh right in with the program. You can tell they're quick studies. They're quick learners. And I love guys that have a nothing to lose mentality. Like, I'm in, no one thought I'd be in yet. I'm just going to show you what I can do. And that's how we're going to do this. The zero pressure mentality, I think, can go a long way. So one more thing before we go. Big news in the NFL is that the Steelers have COVID. So I just wanted to ask you guys, how do you think this is going to affect the team? What should we, if you're betting on the Steelers game, is there anything we should know? Do you think it's going to affect them, not affect them? What's up?
I think it's going to affect them for sure. How can you lose Big Ben and be set, be perfect and have it not affect you? And then all of a sudden you're facing a red hot Joe Burrow and Cincinnati team that's coming off of a big upset win at home over the Titans. This game opened at 11.5, but we just talked about really good teams, complete teams, and having a quarterback that can step in and just continue along here. That wasn't quite the same with Mason Rudolph last year with Pittsburgh, although they still ended up with a winning record at the end of the year. And I think that goes to the coaching, absolutely. But I think Pittsburgh could be in trouble here. Can you imagine Joe Burrow would love to hand Pittsburgh its first loss of the season, and to do that in their own building? I don't have an official play on that one either, but I'm sort of I was leaning to Cincinnati before, and I still sort of like them with the points here. You can still get them over that seven points there. So
I actually saw them at 8, and I love them getting the 8 points. And this is before I found out about the COVID. I was just pretty much looking at what Pittsburgh did last week, and what they seem to do season after season is play down to their competition. Year after year.
True.
About Pittsburgh. I actually had a bet on Pittsburgh last week, and instantly by the end of the first quarter, I knew I made the wrong pick, because I know better. I know how Pittsburgh plays. Yes, they're going to play the Titans very tough. They're going to play Baltimore very tough. They love beating up on Cleveland. That's something personal with Big Ben. Okay, loves beating up on Cleveland. But when you start to get into these other games where it's like, oh yeah, they'll destroy them, this is the number, you get what you get in Dallas. And it would have been the same thing in Cincinnati, I believe. Big Ben was hurt last week. I don't know if you guys saw, he hurt his knee, kind of left earlier, came back. But that offense wasn't in rhythm. Mike Tomlin spoke up about it, that they have to start faster. And that goes without being said. This team, they're not as electric on offense. Juju Smith-Schuster, haven't really seen him this year. I know they have the rookie Claypool that's just dominating, or he's had a couple games where he's dominated. Connor, the running back, really don't get a lot from him. The Steeler team's just kind of they're leading their defense. They're winning it with defense right now. Offense is doing just enough, but I think this would have been the game that they would have been in trouble, because I think Burrows would have been able to put up some points on that Steeler defense, and they would have struggled to keep up. That would have been my thing. They would have been struggling to kind of keep up with the scoring. So yeah, I think with the COVID happening, you definitely want to know who's out before you make a play on this side if you're going to play this game, and get a good number. I think that's the key to this. Because 8 was out there. I'm not sure what's out there now, but if you could get a touchdown plus, then I think you're in a good place there with this game. I don't see a blowout from the Steelers.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it too. You guys know I was like super stoked for Joe in the beginning of the season, and it just kind of took him a while to get going. But, I feel like they've greased all the parts that needed to be greased. I don't feel like that was what I meant to say when I started the sentence, but that's where we're at. But it's just like we were saying with Herbert and Tua. You don't think that old Heisman Trophy championship winning Joe Burrow wants to be in the spotlight like Tua and Herbert are as well? It's again that freshman class of quarterbacks that are, getting their feet underneath them and starting to make their name in this league. And I'm thrilled because I'm kind of over a lot of the older quarterbacks, and I'm thrilled to have this new, real good batch of new ones, I guess we could
Absolutely.
say.
I'm with you, Ali. I'm with you. I love the new batch of rookie QBs. It seems like the ones that have had to take a team, they're not taking over bad teams. Like, I don't think the Chargers are a bad team. They're up and coming. They have some work to do, but I wouldn't consider them a bad team. Tua is in a great spot in Miami with the defense that they have around them. The secondary.
It's a great fit.
The defensive line, even on offense, he has a couple playmakers there. Good offensive line and coaching. The one thing I can honestly say about a lot of these young rookie QBs is they're finding themselves in good situations as far as coaching goes as well. Flores there in Miami, that's part of the Patriot tree. So they're going to be running a tight ship there in Miami, and Tua's in a good place. And with what we see with Burrows in Cincinnati, such a talented player, number one and deservingly so, and he hasn't disappointed. So this is a great rookie class, and I, especially with the way the season's going, I think that is very enjoyable for us because a lot of times when you think like, oh, great, they're putting in the rookie, there goes the game. This is going to be. These guys are coming in and they're surprising everybody. I was not a Tua believer. I would always say Tua time, but I was kind of on that old school thinking. Alabama quarterback. You got to remember he's an Alabama quarterback and how they do in the NFL. That
was a great matchup with Kyler Murray there last weekend.
That was a great game.
Yeah.
That's Kyler, another one we didn't bring up.
Yes, we have Kyler Murray in his second season, just developing and You don't see a sophomore slump with him. I think we're in a good place as far as the NFL right now with these rookie QBs, because I think it was the quarterback class before where you had the Josh Rosen and you weren't really sure what you were going to get there, or the Sam Darnold. You still don't really know what that is. And even with the Baker Mayfield,
you go all the way back to Johnny Football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Johnny Football.
There's been so many busts. Yeah.
Well, even Baker Mayfield was kind of a bust. He's finally kind of getting it together, but I mean, Baker was supposed to be huge.
Yes.
Baker, that's a good call.
Baker.
Sports Girl 8-1. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I will say that has won me over, because at first I was not a Baker fan at all. I'm like, he's in Cleveland. He has all this talent. And I would always make comments about his happy feet. But game against Cincinnati, where he was able to drive down time after time and put points on the board after he lost his star receiver there in Mr. Odell Beckham Jr., and he was still able to pull out a win. I find myself watching the commercials now and laughing at the stuff that I used to couldn't stand before. I'm like, why are they putting this guy on commercials And now I find myself like, you got to open the door. You got to push it. It's funny to me now because he's winning. So, yeah, I definitely see a difference. And it seems to make everybody happier when you have good products out there from college, and we see them succeeding in the NFL as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Sports Girl 818 said Burrow is young and starting to gain more confidence, and the Steelers did not look so well against the Cowboys. So
No.
he is with us as well. All right, guys. Well, it's just about time to wrap things up. If you're watching at home, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and then join us on Friday. We do this show every Wednesday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. For our college football Friday, we're going to go through a bunch of games there. And also, I'll have Craig Trapp's rapid fire picks for college football and for the NFL on Friday for you. And then join us on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern. We do a show called Total Chaos, and we're going to go through the entire NFL card and give you our plays on the over and the under. We've been rocking and rolling. I actually haven't done the scores for last week's Total Chaos, so I don't know who won yet. But yeah, it's a really fun time, and I'll have all that for you then.
Awesome.
So until next time, guys, like, subscribe, and we will catch you on the flip side.
See you guys. See you on Wednesday or Friday.